Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Church of Edmonton. My name is Maria Ouderkirk. My pronouns are she and her, and I will be your service leader this morning. I will be joined by our minister, the Reverend Rosemary Morrison, and we do hope you feel welcome here. Before we dive into our service, I know there are some announcements. I believe it was 3 people spoke to me this morning, and then Reverend Rosemary. Sorry, it's an obstacle course.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Gordon Ritchie. I have a request. Following the service, we are going to continue decorating the halls for the festive season. There are 2 Christmas trees that are up in the mezzanine, a very, very large one that goes here in the sanctuary. There's also a smaller one that goes in our foyer. So if we can get some able bodies to help bring them down following the service and get them set up, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
It's challenging. That's for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good morning. My name's Karen Mills. My pronouns are she, her. And I was at a couple Christmas markets yesterday. And the reason that that's relevant is because happily I remembered, and hopefully I remembered, that we have a 50-50 raffle that could compensate me for some of what I donated to those Christmas markets. If you found yourself in the same position, or you have just think that the idea of a little post-Christmas cash would be a lovely thing, I would invite you to participate in our 50-50 raffle. 50% would go to the winner, and the church would benefit from the rest. And so I'll be at the back in the lobby after the service if anybody needs help figuring out how the QR code works or wants to go via the website. I would be happy to help you with that.
Hello, I'm Marilyn Gay. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm here to tell you that next Sunday we're going to be having a special event after church, before and after church. It's Amnesty International's annual campaign called Right for Rights. Raise your hand if you've been there before. Oh, yes. Okay. I don't have to make a long spiel about what we do. This is an example. Look at the screen. Thank you, Doug. This is an example of one of the 8 cases that are highlighted this year. And traditionally, over the past 20 years, they've had this Right for Rights campaign, and they've had about a 30% success rate of people who are the focus of this campaign being freed from prison, and their lives have been saved. So writing a personal letter is the most effective thing, they've proven it, the most effective thing anyone can do to speak truth to power. Sending an email, signing a petition, that's all well and good, but the most effective thing you can do is write a letter. And Ruth Maria and I are going to be providing all of the materials you need, even ballpoint pens. And all you have to do is sit down, make a handwritten letter. It takes only a few minutes, and they'll be mailed to the proper places for you. So I have a flyer that I received in the mail, which will go on the desk, and you can look at the first 2 pages are profiles of successes that Amnesty International has achieved in this past year of saving people's lives and returning them from prison. Amnesty International was founded in 1961. It doesn't connect with politics, economics, or religion. It's completely outside of those realms, looking at social justice and human rights anywhere in the world. And so, next Sunday, please make a plan to stay for a few minutes extra before you go out to brunch or before you go out to the party. Just make some time, and you'll be glad you did.
Good morning. My name is Reverend Rosemary Morrison. My pronouns are she and her, and I would like to introduce our pianist this morning, the amazing and wonderful jazz pianist, Andrew Glover. Please welcome him. And before we get started, could I have someone that's sitting near the back go and close the doors? It feels that'll make it feel a little more cozy in here. Okay, on with the show.
I actually realized while Karen was speaking that I also have a short announcement to make, which is next Saturday, the 6th of December, is going to be a very busy day here at the church, because not only is it the monthly Dragging Youth drag show in the evening, but before that there will be a solstice market taking place in Keeler Hall and a family holiday party co-sponsored by Ellen, the Edmonton Lesbian Event Network, all happening in this space prior to the drag show. And the drag show for December is a free show, no tickets required, so if you are available and interested, come on out and see our performers. Now put my other hat back on.
Is there still concession?
There will still be concession for cash, yes. We have snacks, we have drinks, we have other drinks. All right. The Unitarian Church of Edmonton is a liberal, religious, multi-generational community. We celebrate a rich mosaic of free-thinking, spiritual questing individuals joined in common support and action. We welcome diversity, pursue the common good, and work for justice. We believe in the compassion of the individual heart, the warmth of community, and the search for meaning in our lives. We respectfully acknowledge that we are located on Treaty 6 territory, a traditional gathering place for diverse Indigenous peoples, including the Cree, Blackfoot, Métis, Nakota Sioux, Iroquois, Ojibwe, Saulteaux, Anishinaabe, Inuit, and many others. I have learned that in many places, when they do a land acknowledgement, they only have to name like 1 or 2 nations. Edmonton is unique in that it was a gathering place, so it was part of the annual migrations of all of these nations that I just listed, and others as well, which probably accounts for the discrepancies in numbers I have found while Googling how many nations actually called this territory theirs. Now, we ask that you take a moment to make sure your cell phones and other noise-emitting devices are silenced so that we can all enjoy the service fully. And then, we will begin our service with a prelude.
Thank you, Andrew. That was lovely. I'd like to invite Ambrose up to light our chalice. Ambrose Rodriguez is our new religious exploration person. She comes to us well recommended by Declan Kiley. She's a friend of Declan's. And she has graciously, she comes in on 3 Sundays a month to look after whatever children might come and to be prepared for that, so you can begin to feel free to invite, maybe bring your grandchildren or invite your friends or some family to come. Ambrose is well qualified. She has worked as an early childhood educator and is now studying fashion and fashion design here at MC College. Yeah. And she's a delightful human being. So I invite you to chat with her and get to know her a little bit. She'll be around, hopefully, for a long time. I'm really excited to be working with her. So, we light this chalice for eyes that see miracles in mundane moments. May this flame remind us that gratitude grows, not through waiting for the extraordinary things and gifts, but through noticing the ordinary blessings surrounding us daily. Thank you. And I invite you to rise in body or in spirit and sing together our first hymn, Here We Have Gathered, hymn number 360. Thank you. You may or may not have noticed, but I didn't sing. And I'm recovering from a severe asthma attack that I had the middle of November, and just still kind of working through that. But the reason I'm saying that is because I'm not able to sing with my choir this afternoon at McDougall United, and here's a shameless plug. If anyone doesn't have anything to do this afternoon, Vocal Alchemy will be singing at McDougall United, or whatever it's going to be called. You know the one, downtown. And so at 3 o'clock is the concert. It looks like it's going to be a shorter concert, but it's really, really nice. I'm very sad not to be singing, but I obviously can't. So today is the first Sunday in our Advent season. And each week we will light one candle for Advent to remind us that the light of these candles guides us toward personal peace, share joys of the season and opportunities to build love in our church and in the larger world. This morning, we light the first candle as a symbol of hope and expectation that this light bless us with the power to accept the healing light of peace. May it bless us with the creative power of hope as we express our intention for peace in all its forms and open our hearts to transformation. Together we say, we are blessed this morning by who we are and by the hope that brings us together. We seek to embrace life as part of the human family that inspires and lights our future. Thank you. And again, so it begins, our journey into the light.
And self-supporting. One of the privileges of our free church tradition is to provide all the financial support of our many ministries from among ourselves. Generosity, therefore, is one of the spiritual values we recognize as central to our personal and institutional well-being. See, we've got a couple of wonderful volunteers who have jumped up to take the offering. You can go ahead and start passing the plates. If you finish before I do, that's not a big deal. In addition to supporting this church community, we also make a monthly commitment beyond our walls. One half of the unidentified cash that is received is given to an outside organization. Some are local, some national, some international. For the month of November, we are sharing our abundance with the CBC's Make the Season Kind campaign, which benefits the Edmonton Food Bank. I know I don't need to explain to anyone here the importance of the food bank in the current economy, but I do want to give a little bit of background on the Make the Season Kind campaign. Rebranded to its current form in 2012, I remember this campaign as what it used to be known as, the CBC Turkey Drive, right? That's why I wanted to say this. In its current incarnation, however, since 2012, they have raised over $64 million for food banks across the province. The official campaign runs from December 5th to 18th and will include on-location events all over the place. For those in the sanctuary, you can use the envelopes found in the inside cover of the hymn book if you wish to receive a tax receipt for your gift. For those of you online, we encourage you to visit the Charity of the Month website the Make the Season Kind website to make a donation. The offering will now be received. We thank you for your generosity and support. With our time, our talents, and our money, we support the work of the community and this Unitarian Universalist tradition. And now, if I'm not mistaken, it's time for my service leader reflection. I appreciate the fact that by this point, Reverend Rosemary has stopped asking if I want to do a service leader reflection because... Now, a couple of weeks ago, I was here early, making sure I had all my papers ready for the pancake breakfast signups. And once that was done, I was sitting on the couch in the foyer with Clinton and my coffee, when Susan Rattan came and asked if one of us was willing to do a reading for the service. A reading. I think you'll allow me the vanity of acknowledging that I'm pretty good at a cold reading, so I gave it a skim and pronounced myself good to go. It just so happened that this reading was about mindfulness and gratitude, and how you don't really feel your happiness until you acknowledge the things you have to be happy about. That's a bit of a sloppy paraphrase, but you'll find I'm the queen of sloppy paraphrases. As a person with both generalized anxiety and ADHD, I have been told that practicing mindfulness and gratitude will help me. And I have no doubt that this is true. However, see my earlier comments about ADHD, even with a daily gratitude app on my phone that reminds me daily to express gratitude, I will still forget. So reminders like the one I received by doing that reading was actually really valuable to me. Now, a lot of you know that I'm very active online, and I recently joined a new Discord server. And I mentioned at some point in a general chat channel that I was spending a lot of the time I would have normally been writing fanfic yesterday, working on my script for today's service. And of course, there were a lot of people who were very interested and confused about how someone like me could be leading a service for a church, and possibly had some really strange ideas about what kind of church this might be. But I was gifted a lovely animated GIF that some of you will recognize and some of you will go, what? From Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. And also, I feel that it is very important in this moment to acknowledge that I do not have a toothache. Which brings us to our next hymn. Number 224 in the Gray Hymnal, Let Christmas Come. Please rise as you are willing and able to sing together.
Good morning. I'm Lynn Turvey.
Oh, I'm John Turvey.
And we're Team Turvey doing the reading. If the Moon Came Out Only Once a Month by Kathy Ross.
If the moon came out only once a month, people would appreciate it more. They'd mark it in their date books, take a walk by moonlight, notice how their bedroom window framed its silver smile.
And if the moon came out just once a year, it would be a holiday with tinsel streamers tied to lampposts, stores closing early so no one has to work on Lunar Eve, travelers rushing to get home by moon night, celebrations with champagne and cheese. Folks would stay awake till dawn to watch it turn transparent and slowly fade away.
And if the moon came out randomly, the world would be on wide alert, never knowing when it might appear. Spotters scanning empty skies, weathermen on TV giving odds, a 10% chance of moon tonight. And when suddenly it began to rise, everyone would cry, "The moon is out!" Crowds would fill the streets, jostling and pointing. Night events would be canceled, moon closure signs posted on the doors.
And if the moon rose by once a century, ascending luminous and lush on a long-awaited night, all humans on the planet would gather in huddled, whispering groups to stare in awe, dazzled by its brilliance, enchanted by its spell. Years later, they would tell their children, Yes, I saw it once. Maybe you will live to see it too.
But the moon is always with us, an old familiar face like the mantel clock, so no one pays it much attention. Tonight, why not go outside and gaze up in wonder?
As if you'd never seen it before.
As if it were a miracle.
As if you had been waiting all your life.
I think I asked the right people to read that. Thank you so much. And let's take a moment of reflection, and Andrew will grace us with a beautiful piece. Thank you so much. I'd like to invite you into a time of quiet meditation. If you wish to place your feet on the floor and take a few long, slow breaths. You want to follow your breath in as it goes into your lungs, feeding your body with the precious, precious oxygen. And then, as it lets what it does not no longer needs go. A metaphor for our lives. We take in what we need and we let go of the rest. Allow the chair to fully hold you. Feel it below your body, the weight of gravity pulling you into it. Let your muscles relax. Just let go. Sometimes we just need to let go. Let go of the worries in our lives, the headaches, the concerns. We can let them all go just for a moment. I'd like to offer you a poem by Wisława Szymborski, written in Polish, translated by Joanna Drejciak. Miracle Fair. Commonplace miracle. That so many commonplace miracles happen. An ordinary miracle in the dead of night, the barking of invisible dogs. One miracle out of many, a small, airy cloud, yet it can block a large and heavy moon. Several miracles in one. An alder tree reflected in the water, and that it's backwards, left to right, and that it grows there, crown down, and never reaches the bottom, even though the water is shallow. An everyday miracle. Winds weak to moderate, turning gusty in storms. First among equal miracles. Cows are cows. Second to none miracle. Just this orchid from just that one seed. A miracle without a cape and top hat. Scattering white doves. A miracle, for what else could you call it? Today the sun rose at 3:14 and will set at 8:01. A miracle less surprising than it should be. Even though the hand has fewer than 6 fingers, it still has more than 4. A miracle. Just take a look around. The world is everywhere. An additional miracle, as everything is additional. The unthinkable is thinkable. I invite you into a moment of silence, and I will read the poem for a second time. Commonplace miracle. That so many commonplace miracles happen. An ordinary miracle in the dead of night. The barking of invisible dogs. One miracle out of many. A small, airy cloud, yet it can block a large and heavy moon. Several miracles in one. An alder tree reflected in the water, and that it's backwards, left to right, and that it grows there, crown down, and never reaches the bottom, even though the water is shallow. An everyday miracle. Winds weak to moderate, turning gusty in storms. First among equal miracles. Cows are cows. Second to none, just this orchard from just that seed. A miracle without a cape and top hat. Scattering white doves. A miracle, for what else could you call it? Today the sun rose at 3:14 and will set at 8:01. A miracle less surprising than it should be. Even though the hand has fewer than 6 fingers, it still has more than 4. A miracle. Just take a look around. The world is everywhere. An additional miracle, as everything is additional. The unthinkable is thinkable. And we will have another moment of silence, after which Andrew will bring us in with Spirit of Life. Please remain seated while we sing it through twice. Each week, we come together to share our lives, to share some precious moments in our lives. We light candles to signify the things that are going on for us. Sometimes we're just overjoyed, aren't we? And sometimes our heart is breaking. And sometimes we're somewhere in between. But we all have feelings. We all have things going on. And lighting a candle of joy or concern is a lovely way to mark those occasions, those milestones. I invite you to light a candle now of joy or concern for anything that you're holding in your heart that you would like to make visible, to manifest. The tables are ready. I invite you now. Just doodle. I forgot to tell you to just doodle. is revealing our humanity. The fact that we've got things going on, don't we? We've got lots going on in our lives. That's why it's so important to come together so that we can sometimes just let that go, even for just an hour. Maria will light a last candle to represent all those joys and concerns we hold in our hearts. As I often say, sometimes not even realized that we have them there. Sometimes they're waiting to come to the surface. But we hold them with you. We hold all of these things with you. You are not alone. Amen. So we'll see if I make it through. I would like to thank Ruth for the Fisherman's Friends. So I was going through the Soul Matters worship resource when I started to think about this service a couple weeks ago. I'll pop this in, see how that goes. And something in there made me think, or it was written down, I don't know, ordinary miracles. And I'm like, yeah, that's it. That's what I want to talk about. This month I want to talk about ordinary miracles. And of course I was going to have that Sarah McLachlan song that was played during the Charlotte's Web movie, Ordinary Miracles. You know the one, the story, Charlotte creates a web that says some pig saves the little pig's life. Anyway, I love that song. We're not going to watch the video because we have live music, so it's way better. But the lyrics I'd like to read. It's not that unusual when everything is beautiful. It's just another ordinary miracle today. The sky knows when it's time to snow. Don't need to teach a seed to grow. It's just another ordinary miracle today. Isn't it remarkable? Like every time a raindrop falls. Birds in winter have their fling. Will always make it home by spring. It's just another ordinary miracle today. It seems so exceptional that things work out after all. The sun comes up and shines so bright and disappears again at night. If we are to agree with, that's the end of the story. It's just another ordinary miracle today. I was thinking it was longer. I beg your pardon. If we were to agree with, but I know we don't because we're Unitarians, it appears as though the commonplace things in our environment could be thought of as miracles. However, I think we can think a little bit more critically or deeply about it, so let's dig in a little bit, shall we? Here's what the National Library of Medicine has to say about miracles. Based on arguments from theology and the philosophy of science, a miracle may be defined as a real individual event, the occurrence of which must be, or must have been, at least in principle, susceptible to empirical verification. 2, an event which must be extremely unusual or historically unprecedented from the perspective of empirical scientific knowledge. 3, must evoke widespread wonder, like the moon rising. Must be something freely given by God and not conjured. It's hard for us, isn't it? Oh, it's hard. Anyway. Lots of us believe in God, and that's a good thing. I don't know what I believe because, well, lots of reasons. We can talk about it later if you want. Number 5, must be understood as a special sign from God that transcends the bare facts of the case and communicates a spiritual message. Okay. And number 6, must have been affirmed as a miracle by the community of believers to whom the message of the miracle must be addressed, at least indirectly. What does that even mean? We have to define the definition. Is that what you said?
This is a medical definition.
Apparently. Okay. Well, my first thought was, and I wrote it down, So when I was little, one of my mother's favorite movies was Song of Bernadette. Does anybody remember that song? That movie? It's about a woman who reportedly had 18 visions of the Blessed Mary, the Blessed Virgin Mary. This miracle goes against the National Library of Medicine's definition of a miracle, as Bernadette's miracle would not hold up against empirical verification. That doesn't mean it didn't happen, though, does it? It was basically her word about her visions. No one could prove or disprove what she saw. One of my favorite classes in seminary was called Women Mystics Through the Ages. We looked at women mystics, including the 12th century German abbess Hildegard von Bingen. Right? Right? Amazing. I did my final project on her. We can talk. And so we kind of started with her, and then we ended this semester with Mary Oliver, a modern day mystic. With each of them, and like Bernadette, there were otherworldly qualities about them. They seemed to be inspired or driven by something special that no one else could see or feel. Hildegard believed her visions were from God, and she set about to draw what she saw during her spells. And of course, we have to realize that in the 12th century, everybody, everything, our lives, our thoughts, our behavior centered around the idea of a God, right? That was permeated that time. So who's all seen her visionary works, her drawings, her art? It's absolutely stunning. But were they divinely inspired, or were they inspired by her spells and extreme migraines? She was a very sickly child and continued to have spells. We'll never know, of course. However, here's something. The first source of Unitarian Universalism is the direct experience of that transcending mystery and wonder affirmed in all cultures, which moves us to a renewal of the spirit and an openness to the forces which create and uphold life. If that isn't mystical and miraculous, I don't know what is. How many have felt that direct experience of the divine? I know I have. That sense of awe and wonder. That's what it is. That's what we're talking about. Anybody? Yeah. We've all probably felt that sense of awe or wonder, or remember those Chalice commercials? I used to cry over them pretty regularly, and I bet most of us did too. What were they? The commercials that made you cry. I think they were Chalice.
No, they were AT&T.
Oh, in Alberta they were AT&T. In BC they were Chalice. Same things. When I decide I wish to nurture the direct experience of that transcending mystery and wonder, I intentionally pay attention to the times when I do have that sense of awe and wonder. So, I watched this movie called Otto, and it's with Tom Hanks, and it depicts a miserable old curmudgeon who, through human-to-human contact, has his heart melted. In the movie, Otto goes from being mean to everyone around him to being a loving and kind friend who took care of the family that was instrumental in melting his heart. I find those kinds of things brings me closer to mystery and wonder. Spending time with my grandchildren, seeing a beautiful sunset or a moonrise, sharing kind words or loving words, doing a good deed, watching someone blossom right under your nose, watching a flower blossom. Right now I've got some amaryllis working its way. You could almost watch it grow. It is, to me, an ordinary miracle. The list goes on and on, doesn't it? Are they all ordinary miracles, or are they just life? Is there a positive energy force that is driving those experiences? What makes your heart sing? What makes you feel that way? What makes you aware that there is something just slightly larger than ourselves in the universe? What energy pulls do you feel? Have you ever felt an energy pull? Or energy in the room? Or picked up somebody else's emotions? Like you go sitting with someone and you go, are you nervous about something? Because I'm feeling it. Has that ever happened to you? Like, that's an ordinary miracle. Like, how do we feel their feelings? That's weird. What do you think that is? What do you mean when you use the word spiritual? A lot of questions, see? But I'd like you to sit and think about these questions. And I'll repeat a little bit of those questions. Is there a positive energy force that is driving your experiences, or these experiences we can't quantify? What makes your heart sing? What makes you aware that there is something just slightly larger than yourself in the universe? What energy pulls do you feel? Have you ever felt energy? What do you think that all these things are? What do you mean when you use the word spiritual? It probably means something different to each and every one of us. But in just a minute, I'm going to ask you to share some of your thoughts on this subject with your neighbor. And Mike, if you want to let the folks online talk to one another while we do this, we've got about 5 minutes. If you'd like to turn to your neighbor and just talk about these things, do you want me to repeat the questions? Or you could just think about this last question. What do you mean when you think about the word spiritual? What does that mean to you? On your marks, get set, go. Very well done. Okay. Over the years, I've had a lot of experiences that have let me know that I am most likely not alone. Is it my ancestors? Sometimes I think that my grandmother, the Sadie Elizabeth Newell Morrison, who died in 1923, sometimes I think she looks over me. She has benefited me with some of the things that she had, so I feel a great affinity with her. Is it God? Is it something divine? I don't know. I don't think I'll ever be able to figure it out, and I don't think we're supposed to. I don't think we're meant to figure this stuff out. I think that's okay. But what does it mean to nourish our spirits? I hope you've all had a really nice chat with one another about all things that some of the conversations sounded very uplifting and fun. I wish Maria was just saying it as a former teacher, and I used to work in the school classroom as well. We kind of wanted to listen in on all your conversations, but we didn't. It would be weird, you're right. Every religious tradition through the ages have said the same thing. If you wish to be more spiritual, become brutally honest with yourself. Get to know yourself into the depths of your being. Al-Ghazali, a 12th century scholar and mystic, a Sufi mystic, said many times, I've read a couple of his books, the path to the divine is the path into yourself. So here's some things that can help us. Read some inspirational books. Notice when we get that feeling of awe or mystery and get curious about that. And maybe try to seek those experiences out and those feelings. Being true to yourself, that's a spiritual act. Setting good boundaries. Nurturing your body and listening to your body by treating it well. And paying attention to and heeding your intuition. That will make your intuition stronger each time you listen to it and pay attention. These are all tried and true ways to open ourselves up to the ordinary gifts of life. May you find nourishment. May you have some thoughts about this service through the week. May you notice times when your spirit is nurtured, when you become aware of something greater than yourself, perhaps, when some kind of beauty, music, art, a face brings you to wonder. May it be so. Amen. And our closing hymn this morning is Life is the Greatest Gift of All, isn't it? Please rise in body or in spirit. like to invite Ambrose back up to extinguish our chalice. We didn't practice this part, did we? No. Just get the snuffer thing and put it on. Thank you. You can have a seat. Thank you. It's not that unusual when everything is beautiful. It's just another ordinary miracle today. The sun comes up and shines so bright, disappears again at night. It's just another ordinary miracle today. And that concludes our service, and I invite Andrew to play our prelude, after which we'll do Carry the Flame. And let us sing our linking song, Carry the Flame. Make a circle and and carry on. I need you to sign Andrew's check for me.